There is another life simulation game. I mean, we already have Life by You on the way. Early access for that is starting very, very soon. Paralives announced its early access is starting next year. We now also have Inzoi, so at this point I can bet that EA is a little bit scared. There is plenty of competition that's in the making, but now it gets even juicier. The tea gets hotter. We have yet more competition, and this competition involves a very, very big name. I mean, if you thought Rod Humble working on Life by You, previously employed with Maxis for previous Sims titles, if you thought that was a lot, get ready for this. So the studio that is creating this upcoming life simulation game is called Midsummer Studios. They're based in Hunt Valley, Maryland. On their website, in a brand new article, they write, "Today a team of veteran developers behind legendary games such as Sid Meier's Civilization, XCOM, and The Sims announced the launch of Midsummer Studios, teasing their upcoming next generation entry to the life sim genre." Founded by creative director Jake Solomon and game director Will Miller, both formerly of Firaxis Games, and COO CFO Nelsie Birch, with 25 years in financial and operations management, Midsummer Studios launches with $6 million raised from major investors. So they've got some budget behind, I guess, what they plan to push out with this upcoming studio and upcoming life simulation game. Alongside this studio reveal, the co-founders shared the concept for their unannounced debut project, a next-gen life sim that emphasizes player-driven narratives, allowing communities to share memorable moments that grow out of the creativity of players themselves. "The best stories in games are written by players," said Jake Solomon, CEO and creative director of Midsummer Studios. "At Midsummer, we're making a life sim focused on the drama of modern life, where our players will write meaningful stories just by playing and then share those stories with the world." Leading the seed for Midsummer was a natural fit for Transcend. "As a producer on The Sims myself nearly 20 years ago, I am well acquainted with the power that meaningful player-driven stories can unlock. I also have an abiding respect for how hard it is to deliver the alchemy of community, system design, gameplay, and user-generated content necessary to do so. The Midsummer founders are industry veterans with the rare experience and design artistry required to deliver against this massive opportunity. I am delighted to join the board and support their journey to redefine the life sim category," said Shanti Burgle, founding partner at Transcend. Now, here's where it really gets interesting. The burgeoning new studio has already added acclaimed talent to their roster, including Grant Rodiak, following his 18-year career with Maxis Studios as a producer and director on various installments and expansions of The Sims. Jake Solomon launches Midsummer after 23 years at Firaxis, where he was the designer and director of the XCOM franchise and Marvel's Midnight Suns. Co-founder Will Miller joins Midsummer after 16 years at Firaxis as a lead designer of Civilization, Beyond Earth, and lead engineer on Marvel's Midnight Suns. While new to games, Nelsie Birch has had several high-profile jobs over 2 decades, leading the financial and operational performance for cities and counties. This veteran team is also joined by experienced talent behind many beloved Firaxis titles. After successfully securing initial investment from notable partners, Midsummer Studios is focused on growing their studio sustainably. The founders hope to champion the health and happiness of their team members, offering shared equity in the company and unlimited paid time off. Wow, the first thing that I want to talk about is how this really sounds like a healthy, well-rounded studio. But can we talk about the fact that a sim guru, after 18 years with Maxis and working on on The Sims has left to now work on this game? This is a sim guru that was a director for Project Renee. I mean, for him to leave that project in this current stage of its development and join another team working on a brand new life simulation game on the other side of the country, there's a lot of things that go through my mind. The first is, was he happy at Maxis? Or was he just not happy with the direction that Project Renee was going and decided to jump ship? Why leave Maxis and leave such a big position working on an upcoming life simulation title to work for another studio and develop a life simulation game for that studio? I'm also thinking about how, since he was director for Project Renee, it's also possible that he could be sharing intel with this new team at this new studio on his previous work for Project Renee, which would definitely give them a pretty big advantage. This is brand new competition and is now yet another title that EA needs to keep tabs on. I mean, it's about time that they got their shit together with the current state of the Sims franchise. As if we already didn't have competition in development, it gets even bigger from this point forward. Also, seeing that $6 million was raised from major investors, they are definitely not messing around, and seeing Nelsie's experience with finances and an absolutely incredible resume, I just know this thing is going to be funded and promoted very, very well. So Jake Solomon, CEO, creative director of Midsummer Studios, has actually made a post on their LinkedIn page. After a little time in stealth mode, a new studio is announced and official. Honestly, I've never been more excited about a game than the one we're working on, a life sim that's focused on player storytelling and sharing. We've built a really great initial team and we found really great partners to help us. More soon, but for now, just know that I can't wait to show the world what we've got. So it sounds big, guys. You know, this is the perfect time for something like this to happen because at this point, it really seems like, at least my opinion, Maxis with The Sims 4 is really dropping the ball on the life simulation aspect, on the actual gameplay. I mean, everything is about create a sim, everything is about build buy, everything is about kits and microtransactions. It's been such a long time since we've gotten a really amazing, fully fledged out expansion pack. Yes, we do have some exceptions here and there, especially recently. I think that For Rent was pretty good and Cottage Living was good, but in terms of gameplay depth, like with what we got with Sims 2 and Sims 3 expansions, it's been so long. I feel like the actual life simulation aspect of The Sims has really taken a nosedive. It really doesn't feel like a life simulation game anymore. It really just feels like a sandbox game at this point, a life sandbox. And now that is why we're seeing all these titles popping up like Paralives, Life by You, and Inzoi that are really trying to focus in on the gameplay, and now seeing a sim guru, a lead director, leave Maxis to be a lead producer for another studio on a new title. It's kind of insane, but you know what? It makes me happy. I love competition. We need more life sims on the market. We need to be able to choose what we want to put our money into instead of there just being one game, one developer, one company that just has a monopoly for the genre. And they know that because they have this monopoly, they can put out shit content and cut as many corners as they want, and they're still going to get money from their very loyal fan base. All I have to say on this whole thing is it's about damn time. So this studio has 11 to 50 employees as marked on their LinkedIn page. Now, Grant's LinkedIn profile is private, but he is listed under the employees for Midsummer Studios, and it lists his location as Baltimore, Maryland, so making a fair assumption here that he moved across the country and left Maxis to be lead producer and work on this thing with this company. So honestly, that itself just tells me that this is probably going to be a big deal, and it's definitely worth looking forward to. And I'm definitely going to be keeping you guys up to date and in the loop on this. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And of course, Jake Solomon also writes on his Twitter, new studio, new game. Right off the bat, it's going to seem very different from what I've done before, but this is where my passion is. Emergent player stories. I want to make a game that you can't play without writing a story. And in case you were interested, they actually do have some current job openings as well, both of them in Hunt Valley, Maryland, one for junior design engineer and senior UI UX designer. So if you're interested in being part of the team, all of this is open to the public. So for the junior design engineer, they're looking for someone who loves games, has studied or understands programming, and is looking for their first job in the game industry. You will work with an interdisciplinary team to implement game content such as audio stings, character interactions, and new objectives. So it's sounding like it's for this new and upcoming life sim title. Of course, I will be keeping you guys up to date with everything there is to know on this life simulation title that is upcoming. It's probably several years from being released. It sounds like they're starting work on this now or just recently have, so I would expect most likely several years until we hear anything, but I just can't shake the fact that lead director of Project Renee left to work on a new life simulation game. It really has me thinking if Project Renee is going to release, if it's just not going to be that good. It also now makes me really think, is it even The Sims 5 or is it some sort of spin-off? It's very possible it could be a spin-off, or what if it's just a reboot of The Sims Online and it isn't The Sims 5 at all? You know, with the state of The Sims 4 and players becoming frustrated, I feel like them introducing a Sims Online isn't going to help the case. I really truly believe that EA or Maxis is at risk of completely losing The Sims. It just seems to me that it is not heading in the best direction, but all in all, I'm just excited to see more competition in this genre. The monopoly on life simulation is over. Share your thoughts on all of this below. Thank you guys so much for clicking and watching, and if there's an update, I'll be back as soon as possible. Take care and happy life simming.